with how crazy 2023 has been, I think that will bleed into the influencer cards, Josh. Who do you think has the bigger chance of the upset? And granted, Logan Paul, Dillon Danis, I think that one's kind of a toss-up because Logan hasn't boxed in a while. He obviously had the injury because of the WWE. Dillon has not boxed at all and hasn't competed professionally in any sort of combat sports in a fat minute. Who has the better chance of winning, Josh, in making that and trumping up your 2023 bingo card? Dillon Danis or KSI? I want to hear it from you.
Oh, man. I got to say it's Dillon Danis. It's got to be Dillon Danis.
Really?
I mean, look,
Dillon over JJ?
Dillon over JJ. For the simple fact that, look, Logan Paul, we haven't seen him in a real fight. Like, even the Mayweather fight wasn't a real fight. That was an exhibition where I think Mayweather was trying to get him out of there, but it was so odd because the size difference was so big. And, look, I don't know what the fuck Dillon Danis has been doing. It looks like he's been doing nothing but get beaten up by bouncers and getting ratioed to Twitter threads, But, that's just what it appears from the outset. I mean, now, granted, that was until the whole beef with Logan. Now he's like a fan favorite. We didn't really talk about it, but, it is really funny to me that, Dillon Danis was, a monster brown belt. Fucking going toe-to-toe with Gordon and shit. Granted, pretty average black belt. I think everybody knows that. But, he was a fucking monster for a time. Everybody hated him. Posted nudes of Logan Paul's girlfriend. Instant fucking million followers, you know what I mean? It is pretty funny. But what I will say is, I think Dillon Danis has a much higher – Look, I think they're both going to lose, just to be, to lay it out there before we break into our actual predictions.
It's kind of crazy, though, because he's turning, into, an anti-hero or, a likable villain, a big-time heel.
He's turning into a big-time heel. I'll give him credit. He's definitely...
People like him. They ran polls. Misfits themselves ran polls, when they were doing their workouts yesterday. And they were like, you want to see Logan win or Dillon win? And Dillon had a pretty sizable win. There was a lot of people on that live stream, and I was, kind of surprised, man. I thought people like this villain arc.
Yeah, definitely. Well, a lot of people just hate Logan Paul too. I mean, Logan Paul's not really doing himself any favors, the crypto zoo stuff. And now, granted, there's not a single thing you could say towards Logan Paul that's a bad thing, and not say the same thing about Dillon Danis. You know what I mean? They're pretty similar people, I will say. But in terms of the fights themselves, I think the main and the co-main have a clear favorite and a clear underdog. The reality for JJ is just, if Jake Paul couldn't do it, I don't think he'll be able to. And I understand why he booked the fight, and I understand why he thinks he can, because JJ's not a conventional boxer, and the thing I will always say is, that I'll give him credit for, is he's working on his strengths. You know what I mean? There's two ways to go about an influencer boxing. You can find a coach who's focusing on your strengths. And in JJ's case, he's a great gas tank. He's a very natural athlete. Before boxing, he was in terrible shape. You know what I mean? He had a lot of great physical capabilities, and his trainers have focused on that. They built on his power. They've worked on his cardio, and they've kind of let him more take the lead on that in terms of not really focusing on fundamentals and technical stuff, because you're not going to beat a guy like Tommy Fury with just technicals. It's not going to happen. Jake Paul tried to do it, and I didn't think that fight was very close. He did get a knockdown, and I think I gave him 2 rounds, but I don't think JJ's going to be able to do it. I think Dillon, he's much smaller than Logan, but look, Logan's on the Sazul. Let's not lie about that. He's peeled out of his fucking tree right now. He's probably going to gas if I had to guess. There is an avenue to victory for Dillon Danis. Are you on the same page?
I think there's a path, but I think this one's the most toss-up, right? Because, like I just said, they both haven't competed in a while at all. So what are we going to expect from them? You know what I mean? And Logan keeps saying, well, I've been training, man. I've been training. But at the same time, training and competing are two different things. Getting that time, actually being in there, your cardio, your conditioning, how it actually feels when you're pushing it, and those moments and when to pull back, especially him, like you say, he's a big guy who carries a lot of muscle. He could come out in that first round. Like you said, he's been he's dealing with Dillon, who's been berating his girl on Twitter, and he could come out angry and fuck up and make a mistake potentially. Now, will Dillon capitalize on that mistake? That's another story, there's a lot to it. I just thought about something. What is it? It's to be 6 rounds. Holy shit. Okay. Potential for a draw. Kind of scary, just saying.